Are you about to start a business? Or do you have a business in mind already? Or are you in the middle of that journey? We invite you to pause, watch the show, and learn from those who started their own business and made it big. This is 7 Things. Hello, I'm Russ Molina and welcome to the show where we talk about advertising, marketing, careers, passions, and life in general through 7 points as dished out by our guests. And today, being our pilot episode, we've invited an amazing group. We have invited, drumroll please, we've invited the founding partners of 7AD. And let me introduce them to you, starting with Tini.
Hi!
We also have Tay.
Hello.
Maki is here.
Hi, everyone.
Say hello to Rina.
Hi.
We have Arjem.
Welcome.
And all the way from Denmark, Wella.
Hi there.
So welcome everyone and welcome to the show. It's an interesting topic because today we are going to talk about the 7 things we've learned in setting up our own business. But before we dive in, maybe we can talk about what is 7AD ba? Well, for those who are not familiar in the field of advertising, what is 7AD?
Well, 7AD is an independent advertising agency that was founded by these 7 individuals, hence the name 7AD. We started 11 years ago. And all of us came from multinational agencies, got together, and then by a happy accident, decided to set up 7AD. I say happy accident because we always describe ourselves as accidental entrepreneurs. Accidental as it may be, we're still glad we did it, and we have learned so many things along the way, which we hope to share with you today.
A lot of people are asking us what 7AD means. What's the AD in 7AD?
It depends on who you're talking to.
Always delivers. Armed and dangerous.
Armed and dangerous, yeah.
Tini was talking about being accidental entrepreneurs, and I guess in our 11 years now, we've encountered a lot of challenges, a lot of different hurdles. That's what we want to share with you now. If you're a startup, if you are planning to start your own business, we are here to talk about the 7 things that we've learned, and maybe I can start. The first thing that I can share is it takes a village to really set up or start a business. Very much like raising a child. Do not think that you have to carry the burden alone, especially when you're starting. You don't know everything. It's okay to ask for help, especially from those experts, be it in finance or production or how to do this or how to balance the books. In reality, there are a lot of people willing to help.
That's true. I remember even when we were starting out, colleagues in the industry found out that we were gonna set up. A lot of them voluntarily came forward, approached me or approached, some of us. Some of the heads of agencies that I spoke to were just so generous about their advice, giving us tips on what to look out for and what we need to have setting up the agency. You will be surprised how many people will be willing to help and will be excited for you.
I remember former Exicom helped us with a lot of things, offered free advice, free consultation. I was surprised that agency heads, competitors offered to help us on finance, on managing the agency. So that was really surprising, but also heartwarming.
Even production partners. A lot of production partners offered whatever they have to help us.
And they were willing to do it pro bono, Parang they were,
Yes!
They never asked for anything,
Directors offered their services for free for our credentials.
Personally speaking, it really helped boost my confidence, in setting up the agency because there was so much faith actually in the team. Everybody was excited. It was going to be a promising agency. So that kind of gave me their vote of confidence was really important.
You don't get to realize it until you set up your own agency. The people that you used to consider competition are actually helping you. Even clients who before parang seemed distant, they're clients and we are agency, they're also willing to help, you know. That's a huge realization for us, when we were starting out. So that's the first one. That's the first thing we want to share. And maybe Rina, can you share that one thing, that one realization that you had?
For me, I think it's really nothing great happens without taking a risk. You have to start your own journey and you have to start somewhere. You can't play it safe. So taking a risk means like you open yourself up there to this whole new world of possibilities. And then it's up to you if you're gonna take this path or this path. You have to take a risk.
Just to prove that we really took the risk, we went through the exercise of studying all our options. Actually, very consciously deciding, are we gonna do this or not? And truth is, the option of setting up the agency was the riskiest.
That's the biggest risk of all.
You know, I still have that paper, the pros and cons, which we did while drinking in Magnet.
Exactly.
We didn't really feel afraid during that time because of the alcohol, maybe.
That's true.
When I read the pros and cons the following day, I was like, oh my God.
So take risks with alcohol.
I know it was a big risk that 11 years ago we were about to take because for a week I couldn't sleep. So
Oo, totoo.
Actually, true enough, right before we set up 7AD, we were already thinking of, do we want to apply to another agency? We were actually putting our CVs out there and we had no idea that we were going to set up 7AD. Parang it was really a blessing to know that we were setting up. It was more a secure risk for me when everybody was, let's do this, let's put up our own agency.
I remember talagang taking a risk because I remember still very clearly that Starbucks meeting where they asked me to go for a status meeting on a Saturday. So I didn't question that, and then seeing Russ and then Tini come in, and when they told me about they want to leave, not knowing what they're gonna do, where they're going, and all that, sama ako. so that was really, I don't know what you're doing, but I want to go with you. So it's really taking that risk and just jumping in.
But I don't know about you guys, but one of the reasons why I was more than willing to take that risk was because I felt more excited than scared. It was kind of like an excited thrill more than a scared thrill. So
Sabi nga nila parang the magic happens when you go out of your comfort zone, Going or staying, being an employee in a different agency maybe is like your net, Comfortable. It's a comfortable decision, but that taking that risk was really going out and yun nga sabi mo, Tini, parang zero balance in your bank account, parang that was risky.
Hindi naman zero, 16,000.
13,000.
and that was just the beginning.
And that was when we started crying in a Bible study at the college. Guys, 13,000 na lang yung pera natin.
And then Russ opened the door. What's happening here?
Magkano lang yung pera dati?
16,000.
Ito naman si Tay. 7 pa lang tayo, working in the condo of RGEM where we're practically in each other's faces the whole day. In-email pa kami ni Raz. Hindi namin pinapansin yung email at that time kasi sino bang mag-i-email sa atin, di ba? Tapos nung hindi namin pinapansin yung email, sinabi ni Tay, guys, nabasa niyo ba yung email ko? Ha? Anong email? 16,000 na lang ang pera natin. Ha?
Pitch na.
Sweldo na yata the following day or something like that.
For everyone else listening, the agency started in the houses, in the condo of RGEM, in my attic. So parang we really started very small. And speaking of attic of RGEM, maybe RGEM you can share something. What's that one thing that you want to share?
The one thing I want to share with everyone is that be genuinely interested in everything. When the guys approached me, I was the last one to be approached actually. And it was a short conversation. The selling point at that time was we wanna make an award-winning company. As the shortest interview, shortest, audition that I did for them, in my head, the number one priority for me was to just be a good art director. I knew that everyone had their roles, and I didn't want to have to wear a business unit's head role. Whatever. But being a business owner, you really have to immerse yourself in those things. I was an art director, and then boom, bigla akong creative director. All of a sudden, parang, anong ginagawa ng creative director? I had to take myself in that process na where I have to understand what is a brand strategy. So, yan yung 14 na natay. Na tipong parang, saan pinanggagalingan yan?
Parang you had to learn accounts or strategy is unfamiliar territory.
Yes. Kasi for me, pag dumadating sa akin, Gio, parang gusto ko lang malaman anong objective, ano malalaman ko. So, hindi ko inintindi talaga yung market. Pero once you get into that role, para mas maintindihan mo, okay, hindi siya palabok. Mas calculated ngayon yung pag-iisip mo in terms of the creatives and whatnot. Ang ika-isa-isa lang talaga na hindi ko siguro genuinely na interested, na hindi ako interested is Excel.
Excel, I knew it. Until now, we are propagating how sublime Excel
Put
is.
X here.
But to Arjem's point also of being genuinely interested in everything, talagang when you're starting out also, you have to wear several hats kasi. Kasi kagaya namin, we were only 7. It takes so many, there's so many moving pieces in running an agency. I had to wear a creative hat as well as an accounts hat to a certain extent, a strategic hat, admin hat, interior design hat, all the odd things, that you wouldn't even think of doing when you're in a fully set up, business. But when you're starting out, ikaw lahat. Ikaw muna talaga lahat.
So, parang mas macro point of view yung nakikita mo rather than just...
Correct!
Prior to that, just looking at one department and one area.
Yes. And not only that, parang when you're starting out kasi talaga, everybody is out to do what they can do to make it work. I mean, you don't want to be the weakest link, or you don't want to be the reason why things fall off joints and start to, fall apart. Ako, I'm glad that, all of us had that mindset. Hindi natin pinag-usapan na ganun tayo. We just...
And everything's voluntary.
Exactly. Everything was voluntary. Nobody had to say, ikaw, gawin mo to, ikaw.
Yeah, I remember Russ was driving for all of us.
I was ahead of my time. I was Grab before Grab existed.
Yeah, exactly.
For those watching us, the startups watching us, and all those young entrepreneurs, you have to learn it also because para hindi ka maloko. You need to know finance, you need to know legal, you need to know all of this stuff. Otherwise, if you become too dependent on outside help or outside experts, there's a little bit of chance na maloko ka or hindi mo maintindihan, no? So parang
maloko, akala ko maloko, mabaliw. Hindi, joke.
Oh, yun din. That too. Oh, that too. Tini, how about you? What's that one thing that you can share to everyone?
To me, having ventured into this business allowed me to discover capabilities that I didn't think I had. There was a huge responsibility placed upon you, and you kind of had to step into bigger shoes. And what that role entails were a lot of the things that I hated to do when I was in the big agency, and I felt creative ako. I don't want to have to interface with clients so much, give me minimal exposure, I don't have to defend. I just need to do the work.
The artist's life.
Yes, when we set up this agency, I have to say I was forced, to do all those things as the head of the agency. And I had to be comfortable with interfacing with them, defending the work, but most of all, coming across as a credible leader of this agency. You can't have clients looking at you and saying, Ikaw ba ang CEO nito agensyang to? To kind of find that audacity in you. Bring yourself out there and say na, I'm the CEO of this agency, which I never, ever, ever, ever dreamed I would have to do. Because it was never in my plan to set up an agency or to be the head of one. I don't know if I ever told you guys, but this is something that I had to tell myself at night that I had to do. Tini, kailangan mong chikahin yung kliyenteng yan. Kailangan mo talagang anuhin, and you have to extend myself and do all these things that I absolutely hated then. But I have to say, Having done it now, I surprised myself, I guess. To a certain extent, I even enjoy it.
Very much like Rina, no? Parang you had to go out of your comfort zone.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
unlike RGM, which was external learning, ikaw parang you had to learn what was inside you.
And I think inevitably you will really have to mature that way when you're setting up your own business, because you're not an employee anymore. First of all, you're in charge, and first of all, you're accountable. Two very big responsibilities.
Parang yung mga before na feeling mo ayaw mo, but when you started doing it, parang okay pala, no? I should have tried this dati pa. Di ba? Parang ganun.
I guess you discover also a lot about yourself. You discover skills that you thought you didn't possess.
It's like discovering a new superpower, no? Parang latent pala. Nandun sa loob mo lang. So how about you, Tay? What's that one thing that you want to share with the viewers, no?
For me, the most important learning, the 11 years that we had in the business, is to never compromise your values. Remember the time when we had that session in RGM's condo unit, because we didn't have an office yet during that time, and we had this session that was facilitated by Anthony Pangilinan. The session was for us to finalize our corporate values. I remember thinking that what we were doing was very important, because the values that we will come up with, those are not just words that we put on the wall, the nice words that we post. Those are things that will influence everything. Our policies, decisions on a day-to-day, code of conduct, code of ethics, the kind of clients or accounts that we will pitch for, or the kind of talents that we will get. What I also realized is that I'm grateful that our corporate values are also aligned with our personal values. Like, there's 7 of us. There was not one value that didn't sit well with any of us. I think it was Simon Sinek who said that there's no such thing as a personal value and an office value, because you are who you are wherever you are. So I like it that all the values that we came up with are consistent with our own principles.
Parang the values now becomes the compass, no? Decisions for your business, times of crisis, this is the way, no? How about you, Wella? What's that one thing that you want to share with those watching us now?
I guess it's just being open to try new things. My realization is, as an employee, there are a lot of things that you kind of tend to take for granted, because those are automatically given to you. And when we were setting up, it felt like we needed to really stretch ourselves and learn things that we were not used to doing. It can be as basic as managing your petty cash. So and then just making sure the cash flow, we had money for whatever that we needed. It's also like creating our own code of conduct. Those things that who would ever think that you needed to write those, or create those from scratch, or from touch upon this earlier, HMOs. I still remember that Glorieta meeting at a fast food, because we didn't have an office, where the HMO representative was talking through the benefits. It's like we didn't know the negotiation part and all that, but we had to do those meetings ourselves. My quotable quote is, wag nang mag-experiment. But really, we experimented so much. We had to just jump in, learn it. How do we do this, and how do we do it right? So it's really just openness to that learning process.
Okay, how about you, Maki? What's that one thing that you want to share with those watching, the startups, those who are interested in going to their own businesses?
The one thing that I can contribute is something that's easy to miss but is equally important, and that is the value of celebrating even the littlest things. The one thing that dictated the culture and gave the sense of family in our agency is we celebrate not just the big milestones such as winning pitches or getting recognition, or even promotion. Of course, that's a given. We celebrate that. Even the small, easy to miss moments, such as finding out that one of us is no longer single. Personal milestones also. Birthdays are very, very important to us.
Wait, meron pa bang surprise birthday cake?
Meron.
Not since the pandemic, yeah.
We have a pandemic version.
Pero wala yung gulat.
May gulat kasi may biglang kakatok sa'yo, but wala na yung Ross gulat na sigaw.
Happy birthday!
Na kahit kaninong birthday, nagugulat pa rin si Tay. Kahit hindi niya birthday, siya yung nagugulat.
Even with the pandemic, we still celebrate as a group, even if we're not together anymore. Once in a while, we'd still send the team milk tea or small surprises such as chocolate. Those little things that, we tend to celebrate as an agency. We still do it even with the pandemic. Life in advertising is really tough. And actually, life in general is really tough. But that mindset of gratitude and appreciation, really makes the load and everyday really light and fun. And it all makes us look forward to our next celebration. So, go celebrate even the wala lang moments.
Perfect ending to this amazing first episode. Bitin, no? Baka we should do a part 2. Very much like what Tini said, no? Parang we started out as accidental entrepreneurs, but because we were willing to learn, willing to get out of our comfort zones, willing to learn new things and take risks, and stay true to our values, we have been not only surviving, but flourishing all through these years. So thank you everyone for joining us. This has been a wonderful 7 Things first episode. You can comment on the comment section if you have other topics in mind. Very much like what Maki said, let's celebrate the small things. So lift up your glasses. Cheers everyone.
Cheers.
And see you in the episode 2. Bye.